What is Peepo? Philip Smith says it reveals how the media depicts only part of a culture, and so most cultures don't really understand one another. Though that is true, the true meaning behind this work is that only brain dead and the incredibly self-absorbed believe what is told to them by any form of media. Milton hates his life so much, he's attached himself to the first thing that was around that happened to be completely different. It would take only 2 minutes of investigation to find out that the Japanese are Asians who are solely invested in business, just like us. Really, Milton is escaping his reality and not culturally retarded, so I have no idea why Philip would say otherwise. You'd probably notice the same pictures I've been repeating above, and this is because Peepo is nowhere on the internet. And that baffles me. Haruki Takei's recent works have been found on a lot of places, and the last two that he's put up have only been like a single chapter each. Where Peepo actually has 5 books in Japan, so I don't understand this. It has a small cult following. Why is it not on the internet? But we deal with what we have, so enjoy. Once again, this is bad. Ultimo bad. I'm quick to say it's worse, but at least there's one thing I enjoy about Peepo, and that's Fate. He's this massive man that spends most of his time just brutally murdering people, and I just love it. But everything else is rather horrid. This basically is 4 stories that really don't connect. But to give it credit to Felipe, it could easily come together in the 2nd volume, but I just can't get that yet, so I gotta go with what I've got. The first of these is Milton being a retarded kid who's only happy when he can act out his otaku dreams. Now, I love anime and manga and nerding out in video games, but I treat all of these as an intellectual pursuit. These can be emotional and provocative experiences, and that's why I indulge in these endeavors. Not for the simple fun of it. But most kids actually use this for like a means for just simple fun. And that's a big problem, where rather stupid and unprofessional works gain massive amounts of popularity. When you're sitting there, and you're thinking, what am I going to draw? And you say, let's draw something that all the kids will enjoy because that's where the money is. Guess what you're doing? You're not actually making a great manga, you're making a very mediocre manga at best. And I'm telling you, no matter how great you think you're not doing that great because you're not aiming it for people who are intelligent enough to enjoy it. This is a rather brilliant aspect of Peepo, and the only story of any importance in this whole work. The next small story is Fate, and the only entertaining aspect of this work. He is a hitman for hire, and he is very effective. He brutally murders his victim, and even decapitates a cop in a single punch, shortly after gouging out his eyes with his thumbs. Though fun, it by no means holds up the rest of the book. The next part is about a random glamour model who happens to be the child of some high-level people, and beyond that, she does nothing. The last part, and the reason for all 4 characters to interact, is because Muramato turns gangster and starts to embarrass his mentor, who sees himself as a proper Yakuza. The mentor hires Fate to kill Muramato, and thus all 4 characters meet up in Japan. The writing's mostly bad, comic book bad. There's one part that really bugs me. A bunch of people in a comic book store start to argue about who's better, those that read American comics or manga. I had a very good discussion about this in my Ultima review, but this was far more childish. Saying things like child porn and tentacle rape is appealing and other nonsense that's stupid. You don't talk like that. If you're not going to talk about concepts, style, writing, then you should just scream, mine's better, and leave it at that. Other than that, the writing's okay, but we won't be able to tell if it's atrocious until the next book comes out, so 3, I guess. The art is another story. From the pictures above, you might have assumed that it would be rather nice, but you were fooled just as I was. The art is only great half the time. Some of the time, it's just trying to be manga-esque, and with its style, and it looks terrible. When Felipe draws bare breasts, it's painfully bad. He relies more on lines than on shading and rendering, and it makes it look incredibly off. I'm telling you, I can't show you the pictures of it, but if you saw it, you would know. You would know what I'm talking about, because they don't look like real breasts, to put it bluntly. Even if the art was decent, it lacks all motion, and looks like a DVD skipping. The reason why you're in manga and not comics is to give life and motion to 2D art, not slap together a couple panels and expect it to flow on its own. But to balance it out, in many spots the art is professional quality, and it does have its motion, and it's beautiful art. But the points where it's off is just morbid, and it really downgrades the whole work. So the art gets a 2. Overall, Peepo Choo is bad, but there is one thing going for it, and that is it's most certainly not bland. Though the writing has its faults, it does force you to think, and it can be fun to mock the crazy people who attempt to ruin the stuff we love. It's sad to say, but Peepo Choo gets a 1. I will be checking out MBQ, Felipe's earlier work, and hopefully doing a review of that. And I hope it's better than Peepo Choo, but I can't give any leeway one way or the other. Hope to see you guys next time, because we're going to do a big one. This one's Naruto. Oh, Hinata, you came and you gave without taking, but I pushed you away, Hinata. Something, can't remember the rest of the words, sound like a douchebag.